Hollywood's golden age may have captivated the world with its allure and sparkle, but beneath the surface, studios fought fiercely to conceal dark secrets. In a time when authenticity could ruin a career, many of the era's most iconic stars led secret lives. Relationships kept in the dark, scandals silenced with payoffs, and love stories crafted by publicists. Today, we're uncovering the hidden tales and forbidden romances behind 20 gay scandals that shook the film industry. Think you know old Hollywood? Think again. Before we jump in, who do you think was secretly part of a hidden gay scandal during Hollywood's golden age? Drop the first name that pops into your head in the comments below. And if you're hooked on uncovering the jaw-dropping truths behind the scenes, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new video. Anthony Perkins is forever etched in our minds for his chilling portrayal of Norman Bates in Psycho, a disturbed motel owner who left audiences trembling. But beneath that unforgettable performance was a man quietly grappling with his own inner turmoil. Though married with 2 children, Perkins lived much of his life in secrecy, carefully navigating Hollywood's harsh prejudices. One of his most talked-about relationships was with actor Tab Hunter, but that love had to stay hidden in the shadows. In Split Image, biographer Charles Wynoff uncovers Perkins's concealed world. Fleeting rendezvous in Times Square, staged dates with Hollywood actresses, and a life veiled by a flawless public facade. Like many of his era, Perkins had to suppress his true identity to protect his career. Even in his final years, his silence remained steadfast. In 1990, National Enquirer shocked both fans and the industry by revealing he was battling AIDS. He passed away in 1992, leaving behind a wife, 2 sons, and a legacy marked by brilliance, sensitivity, and the painful price of fame. The real horror wasn't in the films he made. It was the fact that he never had the chance to live as his authentic self. Richard Pryor and Marlon Brando, a love affair that shook the world. In February 2018, Jennifer Pryor, Richard's widow, confirmed the shocking rumor. The iconic comedian Richard Pryor had been romantically involved with Marlon Brando. The story erupted after music producer Quincy Jones stirred up the controversy in a candid interview with Vulture, revealing that Brando was open to being with anyone, from James Baldwin to Marvin Gaye and even Pryor. The revelation stunned the public, but Jennifer calmly confirmed it. She explained that Richard had never hidden his true self from his friends and had even kept a personal diary documenting his romantic experiences with men. In an interview with TMZ, Jennifer joked that it was the 70s, an era of freedom, drugs, and uninhibited sex. If you did enough cocaine, she laughed, you'd write love letters and send flowers the next morning. Her words were blunt, humorous, yet sincere, much like Richard himself. Their marriage wasn't flawless. They married in the early 80s, divorced, then reconciled in 2001, remaining together until his death in 2005. Through the chaos of fame, addiction, and laughter, they were 2 people who truly understood each other, not because they were perfect, but because they genuinely accepted each other's flaws. Ramon Novarro, a sultry icon of the silent film era, yet his life was one of hidden tragedy. In the 1920s, he wasn't just a star, he was the embodiment of Hollywood's romantic fantasy, those soulful eyes, that magnetic charm. With his iconic role in Ben-Hur, he became one of the first sex symbols on screen. But behind the fame, he was a man living in fear, a gay man in an industry that punished anyone daring to live authentically. He remained discreet, cautious, hiding to protect his career and reputation. Novarro's story serves as a stark reminder of the tragic reality faced by Hollywood's gay stars, a life that wasn't truly theirs, all to reach the top without being cast into obscurity. In the 1960s, Novarro withdrew from the limelight, seeking peace in Los Angeles, far from the relentless gossip. But everything changed on a fateful October night in 1968. Two young men broke into his home, driven by the false rumor that Novarro kept thousands of dollars hidden inside a decorative crucifix. They brutally beat him to death in one of Hollywood's most haunting tragedies. The press sensationalized the incident, distorting it into a cautionary tale of desire and deception. But for those who truly knew him, Novarro wasn't a scandalous icon. He was a groundbreaking artist, a kind-hearted and respected man. His death stands as a chilling reminder of the cruelty within the entertainment industry, where admiration can quickly turn into exploitation, and fame offers no protection for the true person behind the glittering facade. Sal Mineo, the sensitive Plato in Rebel Without a Cause who made America weep. Nominated for an Oscar at just 17, he quickly became a teenage idol, admired for his youthful beauty and emotional depth. But Hollywood wasn't kind to those who strayed from the norm, especially someone like Mineo, who lived authentically. As the 60s wore on, his star began to fade. Limited roles and dwindling opportunities marked the decline of his once promising career. In real life, Mineo was more open with those close to him, though he never publicly came out. This truth, known but not allowed to be openly acknowledged, made Hollywood uneasy. In 1976, Mineo was tragically stabbed to death near his apartment in Los Angeles. The police found no personal motive, but the media quickly capitalized on the tragedy, spreading rumors about his private life. Mineo's untimely death became a sorrowful chapter in Hollywood's history, a painful reminder that difference and fame are never enough to protect a person from discrimination. Raymond Burr, to audiences, he was the calm, sharp, and unbeatable Perry Mason. But behind the scenes, his life was filled with pain and hidden truths. After a brief marriage in 1948, Burr never remarried. Instead, he crafted a fictional tragedy, a deceased wife and a son who never existed. All of this was a carefully constructed diversion to protect his true self. In 1960, on the Perry Mason set, Burr met Robert Benavides, the partner who would stand by his side for 35 years. Officially business partners, but behind closed doors, Burr and Benavides shared a life like a family, buying land, planting vineyards, living in seclusion, and loving quietly. Burr even slept at the studio to avoid suspicion. Though he never publicly came out, those close to him saw a Raymond Burr who was sincere, gentle, and deeply responsible. In an era where being openly gay meant the end of one's career, Burr chose to love in silence, and that quiet courage became his most powerful statement. Gable, the quintessential symbol of masculinity in Hollywood, the dream man for millions of women through his iconic role in Gone with the Wind. But behind that proud exterior was a life filled with contradictions. Gable was married to acting coach Josephine Dillon, a marriage he later claimed never truly happened. Despite marrying 5 times and having children, rumors about his sexuality persisted for decades, casting a shadow over his legendary career. There were whispers of a relationship between Gable and openly gay actor William Haynes. At a backstage party for Gone with the Wind, a guest cruelly joked that Gable had once been Billy's boy, to which Gable responded with explosive anger. Like many stars of his era, Gable had to erect a protective wall around his personal life. Whatever the truth may have been, he lived and died with a part of his true self that was never allowed to step into the spotlight. Cary Grant, the epitome of elegance, charm, and sophistication in Hollywood. But behind the tailored suits and dazzling smile was a private life with many layers that the public never fully saw. In 1932, Grant met Randolph Scott on the set of Hot Saturday, and from that moment, they became inseparable. The two lived together for 12 years in a villa affectionately called Bachelor Hall, often photographed as the ideal couple in fan magazines. While the studio worked tirelessly to shape Grant's image as the ladies' man, rumors about his sexuality began to quietly spread. Cary Grant, the epitome of elegance, charm, and sophistication in Hollywood. But behind the perfect suits and dazzling smile was a private life with many layers that the public never fully saw. In 1932, Grant met Randolph Scott on the set of Hot Saturday, and from that moment, they became inseparable. The two lived together for 12 years in a villa affectionately called Bachelor Hall, frequently appearing as the ideal couple in fan magazines. While the studio struggled to craft Grant's image as the ladies' man, rumors about his sexuality quietly spread. In 1986, during a rare interview with Barbara Walters, Grant blurted out, "Everyone says I'm gay. Maybe I am. But honestly, I don't know." A rare moment of vulnerability, revealing an unexpected truth in a rigid era. Today, biographers regard his relationship with Scott as one of the most beautiful love stories Hollywood once had. Grant seemed uninterested in labels, simply wanting to live authentically. And perhaps that was the truest version of Hollywood, not the glamour and lights, but the person behind them. Do you think Cary Grant was just a suave leading man, or was there more behind that charm? If you've heard the rumors or have your own theory, drop it in the comments. And if you're shocked by what we've uncovered, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more untold Hollywood secrets. Montgomery Clift, a rebel, a tragic star, and one of the truest icons of Hollywood's golden age. With his delicate beauty, sorrowful eyes, and intense acting, Clift redefined masculinity on screen. But he never fully belonged to Hollywood. He lived in New York, far from the golden cage of the studio system, in order to protect his privacy. While often linked with Elizabeth Taylor, those closest to him knew that Clift loved both men and women. Taylor was his confidant, understanding every hidden facet of his soul. Debbie Reynolds once revealed that Monty had both a boyfriend and a girlfriend. His mother also confirmed that Clift realized he was gay at the age of 12. Friends like Jack Larson described him as carefree, humorous, and openly gay without any concealment. In Red River, he skillfully inserted subtle hints into scenes that defied the era's boundaries. He never came out publicly, but neither did he hide his truth. He simply lived the way he wanted. Clift turned down restrictive contracts, rewrote his own dialogue, and lived in a small apartment full of books in Manhattan. While others built facades, he chose authenticity. While others chased the spotlight, he let the spotlight chase him. In doing so, Clift became a quietly rebellious figure, a solitary soul brave enough to be real in a world of pretense. Rock Hudson, the embodiment of American masculinity. Broad shoulders, a captivating smile, a gaze that spoke volumes. On screen, he was the ideal man, making every woman swoon. But in real life, Hudson harbored a secret that Hollywood desperately tried to keep hidden. He was gay. For decades, he lived behind a carefully crafted facade, staged dates, a brief marriage to silence rumors and protect box office profits. He smiled for the cameras, but inside, he denied his true self. It wasn't until 1985, when Hudson publicly revealed he was battling AIDS, that his perfect image shattered. The world was stunned. The industry was shaken. By then, Hudson was no longer just a movie star. He became a symbol of the cost of living according to someone else's script. In the final chapter of his life, Hudson did what he had once feared most. He told the truth, and that truth woke the world up. Spencer Tracy, a master of acting, the kind of performer who made every role feel so natural it was almost unbelievable. With 2 Oscars and a career spanning decades, he was Hollywood's gold standard. But behind the glitz and glamour was a much more complicated life. As a devout Catholic, Tracy never divorced his wife, Louise Treadwell, even though they had been living apart for many years. They had 2 children, but the true love in his life may not have been found there. Rumors about his relationships with men, particularly with actor John Derek, fueled public speculation. Even his long-term relationship with Katharine Hepburn was suspected to be more a creation of the studio than genuine affection. In a Vanity Fair article, insider Richard Gully suggested Tracy's fluidity in terms of sexuality. Hepburn reacted strongly, and his daughter dismissed it as absurd, but the doubts still lingered. Despite battling depression and alcohol addiction, Tracy remained one of Hollywood's top stars. Perhaps, as Humphrey Bogart once said, "Spence is the best because you don't see the machinery working." And in real life, perhaps Tracy's greatest performance was hiding the part of himself that Hollywood refused to acknowledge. James Dean, a star whose brief but intense life left an everlasting mark. With his wild look and complex soul, Dean became an icon of rebellious youth. But behind those captivating eyes was a quiet, mysterious world. Though he had relationships with women like Pierre Angeli and Ursula Andress, rumors about his attraction to men never ceased. When asked about his sexuality, he once said, "I'm not gay, but I won't live this life with one hand tied behind my back." A response both brave and heartbreaking. William Bast, his close friend and roommate, later revealed they had intimate encounters. Author Jonathan Gilmour made similar claims. Director Nicholas Ray described Dean as bisexual. Elizabeth Taylor shared that Dean confided in her about being abused by a priest after his mother's death, a psychological scar that haunted him in silence. Though he never publicly confirmed it, Dean is still seen as a timeless gay icon. Gay Times once named him not just because he was a legend, but because he became a symbol of the truth buried for far too long. Marlon Brando, hailed as the greatest gay icon of all time, and rightfully so, as a man who lived like a question mark and left the world as a legend. Brando was more than just a movie star. He was a dark, wild, challenging, and captivating whirlwind. He shattered Hollywood norms, both in his art and personal life. Though married 3 times and having multiple children, Brando was always surrounded by rumors of bisexuality. From his ambiguous relationship with James Dean to his deep connections with Montgomery Clift, Cary Grant, and John Gielgud, his private life was as complex and intriguing as the legendary roles he played. In a 1976 interview, Brando casually admitted, "I've had homosexual experiences and I'm not ashamed." Quincy Jones later shocked the world by revealing that Brando had been Richard Pryor's lover, a claim that Pryor's widow confirmed without hesitation. Some accounts suggest his relationship with James Dean was more about control than love, but the most poignant moment came from Brando himself. "I once walked and dreamed beside a man named James Baldwin." In a world full of stereotypes, Brando's greatest role wasn't on the silver screen, it was his chaotic, fiery, and unapologetic life. George Cukor, the master behind the camera, responsible for masterpieces like My Fair Lady, A Star is Born, and The Philadelphia Story. He was a genius of dialogue, creating some of the most complex female characters in cinema. But behind the cinematic brilliance was a man living 2 lives. As an openly gay man within private circles, Cukor often hosted legendary gatherings at his Hollywood Hills mansion, a sanctuary for stars who couldn't live authentically in public. The entire industry knew but chose to turn a blind eye. When he was removed as the director of Gone with the Wind, the rumors didn't center around creative differences. They were about his sexuality. But Cukor never spoke out. He didn't need to. He outlasted the system that tried to diminish him. He directed with layers of metaphor, subtlety, and nuance, crafting his career as a quiet rebellion. Though not loud in his defiance, Cukor's legacy remains a powerful statement for those forgotten by Hollywood. He didn't just direct films, he directed a life lived on his own terms. Paul Lynde, the man who made America laugh for decades with his wit, charm, and unmistakable voice. In Bewitched and Hollywood Squares, he was the heart of comedy. But behind the stage lights, Lynde was a lonely man who wore the mask of humor for far too long. In an era where being gay was a punchline but not accepted in real life, Lynde lived on a fragile tightrope. He never came out, but everyone knew. Off-camera, Lynde battled isolation, hurt, and the fear of never being able to truly be himself. Yet he still shone on stage. His comedic timing was unmatched, but every joke carried with it a deep, unspoken sigh. He never stopped performing, but in each laugh was a cry for help that went unheard. Paul Lynde's story isn't just about laughter, it's about the loneliness of silence forced upon him by the era. Cole Porter, a musical genius who crafted timeless, sophisticated melodies like Anything Goes and Night and Day. His music echoed through both Broadway and Hollywood. But behind those elegant lyrics was a man who had to dance around his own truth. As a gay man in an era that didn't tolerate difference, Porter lived 2 lives, one as a public genius, the other as a man hiding his inner pain. His compositions were more than just melodies. They were whispers of desires and emotions that couldn't be spoken aloud. He married Linda Lee Thomas, a lifelong friend, but their relationship was far from conventional. His personal life was filled with metaphors, subtle messages, and a constant struggle against a society that couldn't accept the love in his heart. Cole Porter never came out, but he let his music speak for him, and in each composition, he lived authentically, in the most elegant and proud way possible. His songs became his silent rebellion, a testament to a love that could never be fully acknowledged, but was felt in every note. And these are the buried secrets of Hollywood. Truths finally brought into the light, shocking revelations, forbidden passions, and quietly fought lives that few dared to speak of. But this is just the beginning. Which one of these stunned you the most? Or is there another name you've been thinking of, waiting to be revealed? Leave a comment below and let us know. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and follow to uncover more secrets Hollywood never wanted you to know. Until next time, be brave, stay curious, and never stop pursuing the truth.